Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Very Cold Lasagna podcast, your place for all those filthy casual takes on the world of sports. I'm your host, DylanLasagna. This is episode number 182 of this icy yet spicy podcast. And in this episode, we're here to talk about an emergency situation. And what is that emergency situation? For some of you that may be wondering, well, that emergency situation that people are claiming as is some things that happened on the WWE Friday Night Smackdown episode on February 2nd, 2024. So not too long ago, this past Friday. And we're going to talk about it in this pseudo late out of date review of that episode of SmackDown. So it's been a little while since I've covered a episode of SmackDown, actually like over 2 years ago. So a very long while since I talked about SmackDown. Or any general like WWE weekly TV show. I mean, obviously I've done reviewed the pay-per-views, but yeah, weekly WWE TV, not my cup of tea. But there were some things that happened on this show. As you know, I decided, before the Super Bowl, take a little bit of a breather, relax, because we've been on the grind since the entire NFL season, and this was a time to kick back, relax. And, catch up on a little bit of wrestling because, we had the Royal Rumble and its fallout on not just Raw, but on SmackDown too. And yeah, decided to catch up on SmackDown too. And oh boy, there were some things that happened on this show that I did like, but yeah, there was also some stuff I didn't like either. But especially the ending, it was very divisive. It was a very divisive end to that show. But I mean, you already see it in the thumbnail. Whether it's on YouTube or you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform that Very Cold Lasagna is on. But it was a very divisive ending to that show that's gonna send this road to WrestleMania 40 in a frenzy. It's certainly feeling extra large in some kind of way now. Oh boy. But we'll talk about it in this pseudo SmackDown review for the episode of February 2nd, 2024. Before we do that, let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Make sure you follow Very Cold Lasagna on social media, on the X and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. If you're listening to this on audio, make sure you rate and review the show, however you want to rate it, whether it's 1 to 5 stars. And if you want to leave some feedback, I appreciate it so much. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, leave a comment with your takes on each and every topic that I mentioned in each episode, especially this one because we have a lot to say about what happened at the end of this episode of SmackDown. And then share this with your friends, share this with a stranger, share this with your neighbors, share this with your coworkers, your colleagues, anybody. Spread the good or bad word of mouth about Very Cold Lasagna. This show right here, where we give you my filthy casual takes on the world of wrestling, the NFL, and the occasional other sports that we like to talk about here on Very Cold Lasagna. So with that being said, let's talk about this episode of SmackDown for February 2nd, 2024. The general crux of this show was centered around the Royal Rumble fallout on the SmackDown side of things, but more so around the Royal Rumble winners that have yet to make their decisions. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and the role model, Bayley. They were expected to make their final decisions on which champions they wanted to face at WrestleMania. So they made their initial statements on Raw a couple days prior, but then certain things happened. Certain things happened on that Raw after the Royal Rumble, and their decisions got pushed to here. So now it's net busting time. It's time to see who they were going to decide. Were they for Cody Rhodes, was he going to face the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, or was he going to face the Tribal Chief, the WWE Champion, Roman Reigns, in a rematch of last year's WrestleMania? Meanwhile, for the Women's Royal Rumble winner, Bayley, was she going to face the Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley, or was she going to face the WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky, at WrestleMania? So some other things that were going to happen on this show, like the other main thing was the United States Champion, Logan Paul, addressing his disqualification win over his challenger, Kevin Owens, at the Royal Rumble. For those that were unaware, Kevin Owens lost that match via disqualification after he got caught using some brass knuckles that were originally intended for Logan Paul to use to cheat his way to win, but it backfired and Kevin Owens used it only to get caught, and then that led to his disqualification loss. So that's where we were heading into this SmackDown this past Friday. So there's really not much else to look forward to on this episode. So that being said, there was a lot else to say about the main hitters, which were the Royal Rumble winners making their decisions. So that being said, let's just go through the quick hitters that I claimed were such. So we're just gonna go through all this stuff that was like, yes, okay. We'll talk about what else happened on the show first, and then we'll get to the big meat of the bones, which I think was the decisions that were to be made by the Royal Rumble winners. So we actually got a new commentary team of Corey Graves and Wade Barrett. So this was an interesting dynamic, because Corey Graves, some of you may have heard him. He's actually done color analysis beforehand. So this is his actual first play-by-play. So he's like the lead commentator. Think of, for NFL people out there, your Joe Bucks, your Kevin Harlan's, your Iron Eagles, who is in a Greg Gumbels, or your Pat Summeralls. So Corey Graves obviously not at the level of them, but I'm just saying. And if you guys want to technical with WWE, Gorilla Monsoon, Jim Ross, Michael Cole, so and so. So for Corey Graves, this was definitely new territory for him. His first time stepping into the play-by-play role. But he's had experience. He's had some experience doing lead commentary, like lead, calling the action, guy in the way, because you have to consider like who he's had as his partners, of course in the role of the color analyst, and then the actual his partner that's trying to do the play-by-play, Kevin Patrick, who got fired last week, Jimmy Smith, the MMA commentator, the only decent one out of the bunch, and then we all remember Adnan Virk, the MLB on TV guy. Oh boy, remember Adnan Virk? How hard we roasted his ass. Oh man, years ago during that pandemic, like in the late stages of that pandemic era. Adnan Virk, good guy to roast. Yeah. So Corey Graves, he had some experience stepping into the play-by-play role. So, but this was gonna be his first crack at doing it full time. So, it honestly wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad to listen to Graves and Barrett at first. A little rough around the edges, but honestly, not too bad. Really not too bad. I think it was decent, but I think at some point in time, though, eventually, I think having two heel commentators. I think Corey Graves is still like that heelish commentator. I don't think it's gonna cut it because you can't. It feels like it'll feel like too similar in styles. It's like, oh hey buddy, hey John. And it's like, it's like too camaraderie, like in commentary. It's like you gotta have a clash in styles, like like peak Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Like Jerry Lawler was like clashing with Jim Ross, like when Jerry Lawler was a heel. Not to say that Ruthless Aggression, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, when Jerry Lawler was a face 2, that didn't work either. But it's just like, you have to have some semblance. So Corey Graves can be a tweener and such, but it's just like you can't have, in my opinion, you can't have two heel and heel. It might not work out. So you have to have some kind of like differing personalities, like Graves maybe be a tweener that can clash with Wade Barrett, who still mostly favors the heels. So that's your new commentary team. I think it's off to a decent start. Much better than Kevin Patrick. No disrespect, but yeah, he really wasn't an ideal fit. So anyway, we started off the show with Logan Paul, the United States champion, addressing his Royal Rumble victory over Kevin Owens. He's just basically, doing doing Logan Paul things, like admitting victory and saying things that, oh, hey, he'll give Kevin Owens credit, and like doing more. Kevin Owens did more damage in their match at the Royal Rumble than Floyd Mayweather did in Logan Paul's fight years ago. But the facts are facts. Logan Paul beat Kevin Owens. So Logan Paul, he went on to claim that, oh, he's tough. He's tough during the time when WrestleMania is a mess with injuries and these, well, he didn't say scandals, but he's implying that WrestleMania is a mess. So anyway, Kevin Owens comes out. He wants a fair rematch for the title, but Logan Paul didn't want to give it to him. So Logan Paul said, you're not getting your rematch. I'm going to go on commentary while you have your match with Austin Theory. So he has a match with Austin Theory. Owens won using the brass knuckles that Logan Paul threw in the ring, meant for Theory. But yeah, after Owens used the brass knucks, this time he wasn't a dumbass. He learned his lesson, and he hid him away from the referee. So that got him the win, and then he chased away Logan Paul. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that they're going for the rematch, I think. I think they're going for the rematch in Perth, unless they're doing an elimination chamber for the U.S. title, which, I don't know. Do you even have enough challengers for the U.S. title over on SmackDown? I don't know. It's a little weird, but anyway. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that, like, I think that they're going to do a rematch between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens in Perth for the Chamber pay-per-view. So these are basically your next steps for that. So, yeah, Logan Paul, you just went barging into Nick Aldis's office while Bianca Belair was there trying to get for whatever reason, a title match with Io Sky. Like, why? It's like, what have you done to get a title match? Oh, because you're Super Bianca. But anyway, so Logan Paul was demanding he get his next challenger for the U.S. title. And we're going to find out this coming week on SmackDown on the next episode. So that challenger is probably going to be Kevin Owens, or unless, they throw a curveball again and have Logan defend it in the Elimination Chamber, which would still be funny as hell. I'm not going to lie. Make that Elimination Chamber for the U.S. title. Maybe like Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, Austin Theory. Throw in LA Knight and Randy Orton and AJ Styles in there, I guess. I don't know. It'd kind of be a waste, though, with LA Knight, Orton, and Styles after that Fatal 4-Way. But, I mean, it's like not like they have anything else to do. So, anyway, you also had a Fatal 4-Way tag team qualifying match. The winners were going to get a crack at, next week in a finals, where the winner of that match next week on SmackDown would face the undisputed tag team champions Finn Balor and Damian Priest at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view for the titles in Perth. So Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, I don't know who the hell that is. So they won the 4-way over the LWO, Pretty Deadly, and Legado del Fantasma to qualify for one of those spots next week. And then there's going to be another Fatal 4-Way on Raw to determine who's going to face them on SmackDown this coming week. So, I mean, it was an all right match. It was pretty much in the background while I was doing stuff, so I didn't really care. And I'm just thinking, who's going to take those titles off the Judgment Day at this point? I'm probably thinking The Miz and R-Truth, because, I mean, that's what they've been running with. So, either way, I don't really care. But, I mean, prior to this match, though, they did play a vignette, like a promo package for Legado del Fantasma. I mean, I'm at least appreciating the fact that they're trying to do these promo packages more. But I mean, it's like, they got to place them better, though, because you're trying to do it before a match, like right before. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's my biggest problem with SmackDown just in general with with WWE programming, but especially SmackDown. It's like they really poorly pace these shows. It's like, yeah, it's like they're trying to cram everything together into 2 hours. I mean, I get it. 3 hours would be a much worse situation for them, but it's just like, you got to cut time somewhere. And I feel like Triple H, it's like he's really trying to get his long match fix in. And such is the case with this Fatal 4-Way match. It's like, dude, you don't need to be, this match shouldn't be as long as it is. No, like, We don't need to see a million of freaking spots in this match. It's like, just keep it short, simple, to the point. Like, it's not that hard. But I mean, still, it was still a solid promo package that introduced who Elektra Lopez was to a degree, and what their intentions were. For those that either are unfamiliar to this group or maybe to have like new intention, like what exactly their new goal is. And that new goal was to eradicate Rey Mysterio's Latino World Order in order to carry the family legacy handed on to them and and to carry on the Lucha Libre mantle. So I mean, they have goals. They have goals. It's now a matter of can the booking execute on that? I mean, we'll see. And it also depends on when Rey Mysterio is going to come back, because, ooh, man, he's also got hit by the injury bug. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that group pans out. But for this Fatal 4-Way match, yeah, I didn't really care. A little bit later on in the second hour of the show, after the certain other segment that we were going to talk about, you had the Final Testament that's Karrion Kross's group with the Authors of Pain taking on the Hurt Profits. I mean, I'm not calling them by that other group name, that the actual group name that they have, because I think it's kind of whack. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, but I'm calling them the Hurt Profits because that's a much better name. So they finally faced off. They finally got in a match after weeks of vignettes, mind games, brawls with each other. Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, they were supposed to fight at least with Lashley and the Street Profits, but the match never actually got started because they just wouldn't stop beating each other up before the bell. So they got into it. Scarlett Bordeaux, Karrion Kross's wife, she got involved as well, but in came some chick named B-Fab. I don't know who she is, but Corey Graves mentioned that she was chatting with Bobby Lashley for months now, and she was there for like briefly in those backstage segments. But yeah, it's like I hardly remember it. So she went after Scarlett too, and then Lashley gave Karrion Kross a spear, and then the Hurt Profits stood tall. I mean, yeah, and it's hard to get invested in this kind of feud when, yeah, it's like he's trying to make Karrion Kross and his group like a thing, but it's just like, I don't know, the crowd doesn't really seem to care. But it kind of sucks though. It kind of sucks. I mean, they've ruined Karrion Kross. Like, I just don't know what it is, man. I really don't know. It's like he's like the complete opposite of interesting. Like, I don't know. So then you had Michin, Mia Yim take on the newest call up from NXT, Tiffany Stratton, and I was excited. I was excited about this. Tiffany Stratton finally coming up to the main roster. So let's break it down like what happened very briefly. It was revealed that returning wrestler Naomi, who came back at the Royal Rumble after she signed on to SmackDown, but it was also revealed that NXT standout and former NXT Women's Champion, who was also at the Royal Rumble, Tiffany Stratton, had also signed on to SmackDown. With little applause though from Shotzi, Bianca Belair, and Mia Yim, who Tiffany bitch slapped. She gave a hard bitch slap to Mia Yim after she boldly claimed that Bianca will remember her, and then she wanted to bitch slap Mia Yim. It's like, damn, that was a loud slap. Tiffany, like, no wonder why they call her the center of the universe, the buff Barbie. It's like, yeah, that was a statement that to be made in preparation for what we're about to see. So that set up this showcase match between the two, more so for Tiffany, for those unfamiliar with her work down in NXT. And you saw a little bit of glimpse of how fast she grasped the WWE world. Keep in mind, for those unfamiliar, I do believe that Tiffany Stratton didn't have a lot, if not any, wrestling background. She was a former gymnast. I think Corey Graves mentioned she was part of Team USA, but she caught on to the wrestling business real fast once she entered a developmental. She took this shit really seriously, and I watched some of her work down in NXT. Like, I remember watching her match at Battleground. I think it was against was it Roxanne? Who was the NXT Women's Champion at the time? I think it was Roxanne Perez or No, it wasn't like Valkyria. Somebody, but I remember that point where she first won the NXT Women's Championship, and she was really good. Like, she was really good in her selling, her moveset, her gymnast athletic background. It really shone, not just there, I mean, during her time in NXT, but here in her debut. There's some things to fine tune, of course, but it's gonna come in time, and with more time on TV, the more set she has these matches on the main roster, and then of course, vignettes, promo packages, trying to sell who she is. The more you show, the more people are gonna get interested. I mean, sure, it helps that you tell, but it also even helps even more if you show. So I feel like Tiffany Stratton is a star ready to come out and break out even more, especially on the main roster, because I feel like Tiffany Stratton is going to be a big star if Triple H and especially TKO are able to present her right. I would say I was a little surprised that they put her on SmackDown instead of Raw, but I guess because of the Charlotte Flair injury, they put her on SmackDown because they're really lacking in depth compared to Raw. I mean, Raw is still lacking depth, like in actual talent, but it's just like not as bad compared to SmackDown, especially without Charlotte, and there's no like legit heel for Bianca to feud with. So perhaps maybe this sets up Bianca versus Tiffany at WrestleMania. I mean, I'd actually be down with that. That would be like the most interesting match Bianca has had since like in a long while. Like in a long while since I guess WrestleMania. I guess a couple of years ago with Sasha, I guess. I don't know. Or what? I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to see what Tiffany has in store for the main roster. I hope they book her right. Because hey, she's like currently one of the few interesting women's wrestlers. I mean, aside from Liv Morgan, that I can actually watch and see, for balanced reasons on the main roster. Either way, SmackDown is Tiffany time, or Tiffy time. Get that right. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they have in store for Tiffany Stratton, coming soon on the main roster. So now let's get into the actual main events of this SmackDown in this SmackDown review. Who were the Royal Rumble winners going to choose? They had to make a choice. Bayley was coerced, was cornered into a decision by Nia Jax on Raw. And then, of course, Cody Rhodes was presented by Seth Rollins with a dilemma on Raw as well. So now it was decision time for both of them. First up was Bayley. Bayley had to make her choice of who she wanted to face at WrestleMania. So to bring you up to speed for those of you that don't really watch the product, or just a casual viewer that's just like, okay, we'll check out the Royal Rumble, but we forgot who won the actual matches, or maybe someone that it was like, oh, I watch this very frequently, but it's just like, damn, I'm kind of turned off by this. So anyway, whether you're hardcore, filthy casual, somewhere in the middle, or don't watch this at all, let me pick you up to speed. So for Bayley, Bay Area native, 49er faithful, what have you. I mean, he's the only bearable, I guess you could say. I'm not really saying much of the 4 horsewomen that I can stand. I mean, not saying much compared to the 4 horsewomen. But anyway, Bayley won the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble a couple of Saturdays ago in Tampa. But now, again, came decision time on who she would face. That decision and win, to the eyes of some people, it's been building up for some time. Because since losing the SmackDown Women's title in late 2020 to Sasha Banks, I guess you could say she's been the sacrificial lamb in certain aspects. Because, since did she ever get a proper rematch with Sasha? I think she did. But whether she did or not, she's been taking loss after loss, being relegated to host of WrestleMania 37, tearing her ACL days before Money in the Bank 2021, and then coming back a year later to form this group that I still think it was badly. It's just terrible. Damage Control, it's just like very disinteresting. Damage Control anyway, with Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Then after WrestleMania 39, you have these on and off teases of breaking up that group before they became one big family. I mean, there was no dissension initially. They held off the teases initially with Io and Bayley because Dakota Kai got hurt. And then you continue the teases, and then you decide to become, hey, fuck it. We're going to become one big family by adding Asuka and Kairi Sane at before Survivor Series. That's just like, okay. But anyway, so to some certain fans, Bayley was overdue for something. But you know how that was executed was going to go a long way. Whether she was going to challenge the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley or do something that most people expected, that other certain thing that we're going to talk about, is going to go a long way on how her road to WrestleMania was going to go. So like I said, was she going to challenge Rhea Ripley like she said she would back in December when the build to her Royal Rumble was starting? Or would she instead go after a certain someone within her group that is Damage Control, that's holding a certain championship? Let's talk about it right now. So, before the stage was set, you know, Io Sky, Asuka, and Kairi Sane were in the locker room watching a replay of what happened a few days ago on Raw. So, what happened was they were showing this progressive match flow. That was showing Bayley celebrating her Rumble victory before Rhea Ripley came out and then advised Bayley against choosing her for Mania, and then that was before she got they all had to watch her get squashed by Nia Jax, like literally. And Nia Jax also cornered Bayley and gave her some encouragement of also not going after her if she decides to beat Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title. And then that's when she said, "Oh, yeah, I'll make my decision. I'll make my decision on Friday. Yeah, I'll do that." And that gave a look of concern on Io. The cameras caught that. So, yeah, that look of concern, though, on Io was not there right after the replay because Io was seen laughing with Asuka and Kairi's like, they were speaking Japanese. But then she wanted to say in English that Bayley is done. Bayley is finished. But little did they know, after they left, Bayley was in the was listening all along. So a little something. Certain fans picked up that Bayley overheard everything, like Batista did when Triple H unveiled his master plan of having Batista pick JBL on SmackDown nearly 20 years ago. More on that in a bit. More on that in a bit. So they all came out without Dakota Kai for whatever reason. I'm not sure why Dakota was not there, but Bayley was ready to give her a decision nonetheless. After listing what she had done at WrestleMania, SmackDown and Raw Women's Champion, Women's Tag Team Champion, being a host, she said this WrestleMania was going to be different because she didn't get to this one alone. She got there with her friends, her support, Damage Control. And she did all that while the other three, Io, Asuka, and Kairi were laughing like, ah! And then when Bayley turned around, they all stopped, like they all started acting serious and all whatnot. Then she started to turn her attention to Rhea Ripley, at least for a brief second. So after that, she talked about talked about paths that she wanted to go to. So she talked about Rhea Ripley. And then she mentioned about another path. She talked about a path where she could go prove people wrong and going against the people that she thought were her friends. And then as she was talking about that last part about, going on the path against the people that she thought were her friends, she she looked, of course, at Io, Asuka, and Kairi. So, I mean, it was clear and obvious that, she was feeling betrayed and where this was going. And you already well aware of what they were doing behind her back. So, and then you even got Bayley speaking Japanese. Like, okay. It's like she knows Japanese. I mean, cool. She picked something up. And she even mentioned that herself. So Bayley is trying to get all the hard questions out of Io. And she has every right to feel betrayed. I mean, I guess, but I mean, it's just like, okay, this is how we're going to go about it, huh? So Bayley's trying to get all those hard questions out, but the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi, they jump her from behind. And they start attacking her. And they put her in the corner, but little did they know, Bayley had a surprise waiting for them. Bayley was one step ahead, and she had a lead pipe. Drove them away, but then once she was ready to attack Io, she stopped. Bayley and Io were in a standstill with the title, and then the lead pipe, and then Bayley was like hesitant to hit her, and then she let her go away. Before she declared, Io, I'll see you at WrestleMania. And then there you go. So now it's official. Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania. But let me give you a history lesson first, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a history lesson first because, oh boy. I really don't understand some of you people. Like, I really don't understand you people when it comes to, this whole Bayley and Io thing that happened on Friday. So let's talk about Triple H and Batista. So this story between Triple H and Batista, at least in my eyes, this began in 2003. Evolution, Triple H and Ric Flair, the present, the glory, the storied history, the storied career of those two men. They're trying to build, of course, what happened with Triple H, but in their vision, they're trying to build up the future of WWE. They picked Randy Orton and Batista to form the true version of Evolution. Like one of them was a third generation wrestler, it being Randy Orton, and the other one was Batista, another like the 6'5", 300-pound behemoth that Triple H said. So Batista was, like I said, also named the future of WWE, and despite an injury that would keep him out for much of 2003, would still go on to have some early success. Coming back, getting that bounty on Bill Goldberg, winning the tag team titles twice with Ric Flair, and then going on to beat The Rock and Mick Foley at Mania 20 with Randy Orton and Ric Flair. So hell, that's not a bad that's not a bad stretch of a year for Batista. And then you get to the later part where Evolution starts to implode, starting with Randy Orton, and then several months down the line, later in 2004, you start with Batista too. You start to tease Batista leaving Evolution. He gets insulted by Triple H, and it looks like he's gonna leave, but then he doesn't. But then, even after that, he starts to evoke some good guy behavior. He starts questioning, like in his face, why Triple H and Ric Flair are doing the most disgusting shit to certain wrestlers. And yeah, although he continues to stay loyal to the both of them, like at New Year's Revolution and such. Speaking of that, Randy Orton, who was already ousted from the group, he really broke the dam. He really set the pot on fire. Because at New Year's Revolution in 2005, he revealed some footage that, but Triple H, you could have saved Batista from elimination, but you hesitated out of the corner because you damn knew well that you wanted the World Heavyweight Championship for yourself, which was vacant at the time. So Batista was pissed about it. He was death staring Triple H, and Triple H knew it. He was like, oh shit. It was like, hey, that's not the point. That's not the point. I was doing it for Evolution. I was trying to protect you. I was trying to protect Evolution. And then you damn well that from that point onward, Batista became a threat to the World Heavyweight Championship, Triple H's World Heavyweight Championship. You knew what that was about. So Triple H became really concerned. Like, you knew damn well, like even the casual fan at that time knew that Batista was coming for Triple H. Like, they planted the seed hard for that. Like, I don't understand, like, where people are going with this between Bayley and Io. So this led to Triple H, hey, don't go into the Royal Rumble. Stick to the plan. Stick to me retaining my World Heavyweight Championship. But Batista did it anyway. So now, rather than rush the decision like they did with Bayley and Io, WWE spent the next few weeks after the Royal Rumble in 2005 teasing Batista going after JBL instead. Triple H was trying to come up with this master plan, trying to get Batista to challenge JBL and later John Cena for the WWE title instead of him. And to do so, he tried to get a limousine that looked like JBL's signature one. And then to have it run over him, or at least have Triple H save him from getting run over by it. And then that went through, it successfully went through. Triple H saved him from getting run over by that limousine of JBL. But then Batista overheard all of it on that big night on Raw, where Batista was set to decide who was he was gonna face at WrestleMania. So Triple H and Ric Flair were talking in one of the locker rooms. It was like, sometimes Batista's not that smart, or something like, I don't remember the exact words. But then Batista heard everything. He heard the plot of what Triple H was trying to do, get him to SmackDown so he can't challenge him on Raw. And that's when the big moment happened, leading to that famous thumbs up, thumbs down segment between Flair, Triple H, and Batista. And the teases were good too. He thought he's going to go to SmackDown and make it a triple threat. No, he stuck to his word. He stuck to his morals. Went after Batista and Triple H. Flair and Triple H. Attacked them both. Powerbombed Triple H. And stayed on Raw to make it a World Heavyweight Championship match between himself and Triple H at WrestleMania 21. So why did I bring all that up? Why did I give you all that try to make that a Clip Notes, albeit a little long, history lesson? Because people are online trying to compare this. Even before this happened, people were online trying to compare this Bayley face turn, this inevitable damage control turn on Bayley, to Batista and turn on Triple H from nearly 20 years ago, when damn nowhere, shape, and form that was executed anywhere as near as well, anywhere as decent to that. Like, how? Tell me how that was executed like that. Sure, were there elements of that? Okay, that was like literally the only one that was executed well. Not even well. No, sorry, no, I take that back. The only one that was executed in similarity was Bayley overhearing Bayley is done by Io. That's it. And even that was kind of botched. So I'll say is that they dragged this damage control turn so long, this damage control implosion so long, that it felt like a chore crossed off a laundry list and said, oh, okay, it's finally over. And not in a good way. It's like they teased Bayley and Io's miscommunications so much that it's like, when you thought it was going to happen, nope, it didn't happen. It's like, oh, they're back to reconnecting again. Oh, it's all good in here. Oh, we thought it was bad, but no, it's good again. So it's just like they kept scrapping it and then bringing it up again. And nope, they scrapped it again because Dakota Kai got hurt, tore ACL, and also hurting Liv Morgan's shoulder. So they didn't have any answers onto how to do the inevitable turn. So I don't know, man. I thought the whole segment was just like, I know people are praising it like to hell, but it's like, damn, like I didn't invoke the same emotion as many other people are feeling, because that was not good. That was kind of poorly executed. I mean, Bayley has cut better promos than that. I mean, not to say that, oh, she's one of the best promos ever, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, or it's just like, I don't know. I know that words were there. I know the words were there. I mean, I'm no actor or anything, but I don't know. I feel like there were more Bayley has had better promos where she had more passion than that. The one on Friday. And then when you can hear you can hear it. You can hear the passion that she had when she was trying to get some questions out of Io. But I felt like it was too late. I felt like it was too late for that. So when you had Batista, though, turning on Triple H and Flair in 2005, he let his actions do the talking. He did speak, but the initial SmackDown contract, the thumbs up, thumbs down, and then powerbombing Triple H to the table, it was pretty, that was simple shit. That was simple actions doing the talking. It's like you knew where this was heading. It's like, actions speak louder than the words. Like, you don't need to add some extra shit in there. It's like, hey, Triple H, I'm staying right here on Raw. Like, I mean, there you go. Simple as that. I mean, as I mentioned in my Royal Rumble review, there are many better ways to set this up with having, no disrespect. I thought Bayley winning the Rumble, it was the right choice, but it's like, not if you're going to do it this way. Not if you're going to rush this. If you're not going to rush the turn like this. Because, like I said, what you could have done was, Bayley get costed the Royal Rumble, have Bayley lose the Rumble because Damage Control turns on her there, even though people would have been pissed, but still, it would make her a sympathetic figure. It would make her even more, fans rally behind her even more to get to Io, or maybe even Dakota too, if she was the mastermind behind it. So that would have her go through the Elimination Chamber, run through the gauntlet of Asuka, Kyrie. Hell, if she has to go through Dakota too, if she was healthy and cleared, then do that too. Earn her keep inside the Elimination Chamber or in a handicap match to get the Io Sky at WrestleMania. Like, doesn't that sound more appealing to you than what we got on Friday? It's like, damn, like, this sounds hell rushed. Like this segment that we got looked really rushed. Like, it was like a speed run. It was like that Batista Triple H storyline speed rushed. Any percent, pal. So they really better have a good follow up for these two, because what I saw on Friday was a piss poor attempt at that. A piss poor attempt at what we saw in 2005. So anyway, we also had the other Royal Rumble winner, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. He had to make a choice on which champion was he going to face at WrestleMania. So was he going to choose the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, or was he going to choose Roman Reigns? So unlike last year where he could only choose Roman Reigns, like I said, he had to choose between one and the other. And Roman Reigns came out first, and oh boy, he decided to drop some truth bombs, some pipe bombs on Seth Rollins in the World Heavyweight Championship. So actually, for context, for this segment, the main event segment, Seth Rollins made his pitch to Cody days prior on Raw on why he should face him for the World Championship instead of Roman in the undisputed WWE title, claiming that his title was the workhorse title, aka the one that Seth defended at every show since winning it, despite a bad back and a bad knee, and the one that was created because of Roman's less than part-time schedule, using up all that PTO. And Roman decided to eviscerate him, decided to put Seth in his grave, put that World Heavyweight title in that grave in less than 2 minutes. Like, damn. Like, for as much as I crapped on Roman's booking since SummerSlam last year, this is a very good reminder of how damn good he has become as a mic worker. In ring, it's left a lot left to be desired, but promo-wise, like, damn, dude. He eviscerated the fuck out of Seth Rollins and honestly, the entire Raw men's division. He downplayed all of his previously beaten opponents that were previous challengers to Seth Rollins' world title, mocking his injuries, like living around like a camel, dressing as bad as Becky Lynch, which is true. He dresses like, what the fuck are you wearing? I love that comment. It's like, yeah, and then saying that, yeah, I appear less than you, but I also make more money than you. So, I mean, that part's fair. All while calling the World Heavyweight Championship the losers bracket title. Like, damn. Like, I cannot knock Roman for that, because that's exactly what the World Heavyweight Championship is. It's a second-rate title. It is the losers. It is the loser belt. Think of it like Grimm's Toy Show's loser belt, loser weight title. So it's like, damn. It's like, how do you come back from that? Like, how do you combat that if you're not just Seth Rollins, but if you're whoever's gonna be the next champion from that? It's like, yeesh. So anyway, Cody Rhodes comes out, makes his grand entrance and all, but then we get a commercial, great, because of course we do. So after the commercial, he went on to give his claim for Roman Reigns, give his answer to the entire world. He still wanted Roman Reigns' title because it was the one that his father held in Madison Square Garden, but he was so close to grasping it, but he is quickly taken away from him. He finally went on to explain what finishing the story meant to him, which I said he needed to explain what that mantra meant to him, which, well, he explained that part with his father and why he wanted to win the title, the Madison Square Garden stuff. And the other part was either taking the title or everything away from Roman Reigns. So, hey, at least they were finally making some progress on Cody potentially finally, quote unquote, finishing his story against Roman Reigns at this year's WrestleMania, when they failed to do that at last year's WrestleMania. But then they went on to do some very questionable things. Then that's when people really turned their heads in that Friday night. Cody claimed that he still wanted Roman's title and for Roman Reigns, but not at WrestleMania. And I was like, I think I know where this is going. And I know where this is going. I said this in my Royal Rumble review. Watch out. And he mentioned about taking counsel, especially from one person that knows Roman Reigns very well. And I knew it. I tweeted about it just seconds in, as soon as it happened. It's like, watch out. If you're a man, what The Rock is cooking. Oh, shit. I knew it was going to happen. I told you. Just watch out for The Rock. Watch out for The Rock to find a way to get into this storyline between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Even if Cody had won the Royal Rumble again. I mean, although I didn't imagine it this way, though. But damn, dude. This was rough. This was very rough. So out came The Rock after and he came out doing his usual entrance, and then Cody Rhodes was looking at him, giving him a death stare. It's just like a death stare of, man, I'm heartbroken right now. And then he shook Cody. He and Cody shook hands. And then he told him something, and Cody was seen smiling, but then Rock was telling something that made him like, oh. And then Cody was walking off all dejected, and then the cameras panned back to The Rock, and he stared into the eyes of his cousin, and then they went to a face-off, and the cameras cut off as there was a signage, a graphic that said, oh, there's going to be a press conference in Vegas on Thursday, and looks like we're getting this match in 2 months' time at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Oh, boy. And that's why I said earlier on in this episode, people were very divisive. People were either pissed or they were happy about the way this episode of SmackDown ended, because they were either feeling The Rock versus Roman is finally happening at WrestleMania, but the others were feeling poor Cody. He just casually handed his guaranteed WrestleMania spot to The Rock, and now he has to do something else. It's like, he has to finish the story, but the others are like, fuck the story. Like, we have to get this dream match between The Rock versus Roman. It's like, what about you, Dylan? Where do you stand on this entire debacle? You've seen all like delve into the flames, into the burner on just not just Twitter, but on Instagram, and now it's making headline news for all the wrong reasons. Like, TMZ is even covering this. USA Today is covering this. Hell, even Logan Paul of all people, who is currently employed by WWE, doing all his things on YouTube, his drink Prime. He even went on to say on Twitter recently, "We want Cody." So he's in on the trend too. And even have all these trends saying hashtag "We want Cody," justice for Cody, the woe movement, hashtag woe movement. So, damn. Here are my thoughts on this. Like, this is interesting. So let me say this. I get it. This is no doubt in my mind going to do big money if this match is made official. If this match is made official, I assume it will be in Vegas. Like, once they do that press conference in Vegas on Thursday, like, it's going to do big money and big numbers for the WWE. The Rock versus Roman Reigns was always going to be the one dream match that many have longed for, including myself. And I'm not going to lie, since Roman Reigns became the tribal chief in 2020, like, especially in like the peak, the bloodline story. Like, I was anxiously waiting for that match to happen, especially last year at WrestleMania. Like, going into that WrestleMania, I was anxiously waiting for The Rock versus Roman Reigns to happen, because it just fit. It just really fit. You know, The Rock being in Hollywood, going one-on-one against the WWE champion Roman Reigns, not just for the title, but for the pride, the honor of their family, the head of the table. But now that we're here, now that we're at this point, I mean, I'm still glad the match is happening, but it's a year too late. It's 1 year, maybe even 2 years too late. And to be honest with you, as I'm glad that the match is happening, it might sound contradictory, it might sound hypocritical, but I really don't like how this is being handled, like, at all. It's like, I really don't like how we even got to this point. So, you know, I talked about it in my Royal Rumble review. Like, don't rule out The Rock getting involved in Cody's road to WrestleMania somehow, despite Cody winning the Rumble. And, well, I can't believe I say it, but I called it. But, again, not in the way I imagined it. So, man, this is a mess. This is a big mess. Because, on one hand, you know, I'm not much of a fan of Cody Rhodes, but he actually managed to finally, like, at least write in an explanation for why he should, quote unquote, finish the story at WrestleMania, and why he had validity to win the WWE title from Roman. It was the title that represents WWE, not Seth's World Heavyweight Championship. You know, the losers bracket title that Roman said. And that was the one title that Dusty almost captured at Madison Square Garden, like, all those years ago, but then it got taken away from him. So he finally made a valid point for what finishing the story meant, but yet he got made to look like the biggest cuck, the biggest loser in probably all of professional wrestling, if it stands hold the true that he gave away his WrestleMania spot, his guaranteed WrestleMania spot, to The Rock, to Dwayne Johnson. It's like, if that comes to pass, if Cody doesn't even get a chance to earn his keep, to face off against Roman before WrestleMania, Cody looks like a cuck. Cody looks like a damn near loser. Like, Seth, Cody, the World Heavyweight Championship, like literally everyone, the WWE. I mean, they all look like losers. Like damn. That is just an absolute brutal testament to how everyone, like even Triple H, views those people in the WWE. I mean, aside from Roman Reigns, like shit. So everyone in the higher ups of WWE, whether it's Nick Khan, Ari Emanuel, and I guess to a degree Triple H, because I guess this is not a Triple H thing when you think about it. They all fucked themselves over. They really fucked themselves over when they let the Rock or Dwayne Johnson hop on board the board of directors, giving him full ownership of his Rock mantra. But now he's pulling his weight. I mean, look, we like The Rock for what he did in his pro wrestling career, but damn, recently, it's like, yeah, he does some nice things here and there, but it's like, ugh. Like, it's from what I'm reading, it looks like Dwayne Johnson pulled a Hulk Hogan. He's using his new political power, and essentially he said, "Sorry, Cody, your WrestleMania story is not going to work for me, brother. Not going to work for me, jabroni. It's time for Black Adam to push himself into saving this mess of WrestleMania like I'm Jalen Hurts on the Philadelphia Eagles." So, oh boy. Yeah. I feel like this all could have been avoided if The Rock and Roman at least set this match up earlier, like much earlier, at least 6 months earlier, like SummerSlam, like either SummerSlam or Money in the Bank in London. It's like, damn, because you could avoid all this if you set that up earlier, or if you even had The Rock come in, win the Royal Rumble instead of Cody, and that at least give Cody another speed bump in finishing the story. So this would render Cody's back-to-back Rumble victories essentially meaningless, because it said now Dwayne Johnson says like, "Oh hey, I'm The Rock. I could just swoop in and screw the entire card even harder at WrestleMania," because that's essentially what he's doing. He's essentially fucking over the entire WrestleMania card. I mean, we'll see what happens on Thursday, but it's just like, if this comes to pass, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't really, like I said, as much as Rock versus Roman's gonna get in big money, big numbers at WrestleMania, that's gonna be a short-term effect. But what about the long game? You gotta think the long game. And then you're gonna have other people like certain YouTubers, certain wrestling accounts on here, after WrestleMania saying, "Oh, why isn't WWE growing? Why isn't WWE getting in the big ratings anymore? As like they did on the road to WrestleMania." Well, duh. You put all your chips on the table for Rock versus Roman on night 2, and then you let the rest of the cards suffer. The WrestleMania card's already broken as it is because, well, not only of the Vince McMahon scandal, but because Brock Lesnar getting name dropped in that scandal. Now he's gonna miss WrestleMania because, well, they don't want him in any light whatsoever. Because and now CM Punk is out with a triceps injury because damn. So this is a broken WrestleMania card. This is a broken 40th anniversary WrestleMania. So Seth versus Punk was already fucked. Now even Roman versus Cody too. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fanatic of that, not even in the slightest, but at least you would have gotten a little bit of payoff for that. So you also fucked over some potential like other opponents for Seth Rollins, like Gunther, your other backup plan, and especially Drew McIntyre. Like, damn, it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is TKO? What is Dwayne Johnson doing? So they also potentially fucked up any other wrestler out there that Triple H, he still doesn't know how to fit them on the WrestleMania card. This is 2 months. We're 2 months away from WrestleMania 40, and you still don't have an idea what the rest of the WrestleMania card is going to look like. Like, you still don't know if you're going to do something with Randy Orton, LA Knight, and other wrestlers. Like you don't even have the other women's world title match set in stone. Like, You don't know if you want Rhea Ripley to face Becky Lynch, which I still disagree with, or you don't know if she's gonna face Liv Morgan, finally get her revenge. You don't know if she's gonna face Jade Cargill. You don't know if she's gonna face Nia Jax. You don't know if you're gonna have some random tag team showcase or whatnot. Like, what do they even try to do over there in creative? I mean, like, not to say I can write anything better, but it's just like, damn. It's like they gotta get their shit together. They really gotta get their shit together because this is a mess. This is a big time mess that they got in their hands. But when it comes to this Rock versus Roman Reigns matchup, my biggest issue is that doing this now is not only terrible timing, but the WWE title is still involved in all this. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with this if they're just fighting for the head of the table. And don't give me this bullcrap of, oh, Roman Reigns is not the head of the table if he doesn't have the WWE title. Bullshit. He has said, like, he is literally retconned that like numerous times. Like, especially in the build to SummerSlam, is like, hey, you want this? You want the lay to Jey Uso? Here, you can take it. Take it all. Like, he literally retconned that in the build to SummerSlam. So, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what the hell we're doing here. So, if this happened last year, I wouldn't have a problem with it because it made more sense. Like I said, Rock's a Hollywood guy. Roman was still at the peak of his bloodline arc. But now, well, Roman still has the title. The bloodline story has dipped significantly. So has his reign. So have his lack of appearances. And The Rock, he still has name value, but man, has his stock dropped. Not in a bad way. Not as bad as Roman Reigns, but it's like, damn. So now we're supposed to believe that Rock taking the title off of Roman is going to humble him. Like, come on, man. There's even reports out there that say, oh, they're considering that Rock's going to win. He's going to push to win against Roman. Like, what? We're going to end Roman's near 4-year title reign to The Rock? Are you serious? They can't be seriously thinking about that. Like, at this rate, I would either have Braun Breaker, build up, rush Braun Breaker, or get Gunther, or get Cody Rhodes. Just get Cody. I don't know. But The Rock, or they should have just had Jey Uso take the title off of Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Like, that was the best opportunity. That was literally the best opportunity they could have done. Yeah, Jey Uso, the title off of Roman Reigns, even if it was a transitional reign, and go from there. Because when you look at it, this is a very predictable title match. That even the casual fans' eyes, they think either Roman's going to retain, or The Rock's going to win. So, money match, but very predictable outcome. This is a very lose-lose situation for not just WWE, TKO in the long run. Sure, they'll get all the big money. Yeah. But they're going to lose in the long game. They're not just going to lose after WrestleMania. But damn, they're going to suffer. This card's going to suffer if they don't figure this out quick. I'll let it play out for the next week or two, but they got to get their shit together. They really got to get their shit together. And there's one way that they can try to salvage this. There's one way. That's pending on what happens on Raw, pending on what happens in the press conference. And that's this. Cody never mentioned yet that he would choose to face Seth Rollins. Sure, people are implying that at WrestleMania. So if he still wants to go after Roman, they could do what they did with John Cena back in 2008. And when he fought Randy Orton at No Way Out, they can have him fight Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber in Perth. And I know people are saying, oh, Roman's not advertised for Elimination Chamber. They have 2 weeks. They can still put him on there. I'm not saying they will, but it's just like, don't rule out that possibility. So you can have Cody and Roman at the Elimination Chamber, run it back, and this time have The Rock involved to stop Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa from running interference, and that's how Cody wins. Yeah, finishing the story at a B-level pay-per-view, not entirely as appealing as at WrestleMania. But I mean, it's in front of 60,000 people in Australia. But it's something. And that fuels the fire in this Roman and Rock story. And now Roman actually has beef, gets more beef with The Rock as they clash for the head of the table status at WrestleMania and the true main event of WrestleMania. So at least that gives some more unpredictability. That gives more chance for The Rock to win and actually humble Roman. Like, wouldn't that be more appealing than, Roman defending the title and then Roman's just going to win anyway? I mean, I just feel like we're stat padding Roman at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still like Roman's tribal chief run, his head of the table stuff. But it's just like, damn, his title is later half of the title run, especially since SummerSlam. It's like, we need to do something. We need to do something right now. So as I said, I mean, I'm probably rambling on at this point. It's like, I'm glad that this match is likely happening. It probably is. I mean, they're probably confirming it in Vegas, but we'll see. But I really don't like how we got here. I really don't like how we got here. I mean, I know The Rock has been on a publicity tour, trying to get that match set up, trying to make it happen. Whether it is WrestleMania this year or WrestleMania next year at a WrestleMania. But I mean, yeah, you also have to look, The Rock's not getting any younger, so he probably wanted to try to get it in. But it's just like the timing's all wrong, man. The timing's all wrong. Like, Cody just won the Rumble. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him because, like, damn, The Rock just came in and just stripped it away from you, a main event from you at WrestleMania. So it's like, ugh, kind of feel bad for him. So, the match sounds good on paper. I mean, it's a dream match that everyone, including myself, has been wanting. But it's just like, The Rock better do good. The Rock better show up and do good in the ring after not having a match in over 10 years, because you damn know well that the Philadelphia crowd, a hardcore wrestling crowd, a smart mark wrestling city, yes, 2 months out, they're going to be damn near hostile as hell. They're going to be damn near negative to both him and Roman. I mean, it's still early to say, but if this continues on, they're going to turn to shit on this match. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to continue to let this play out. We still have some time. But I just feel like they kind of fucked themselves with this whole ordeal. It's just like, shit. This is messed up. I mean, I know it's business, but they could have done this in so many different ways. So let me know your thoughts on this whole shebang, this whole fucked up situation with Cody giving up his spot to face Roman at WrestleMania to The Rock. I mean, let's wait and see. I know everyone's mad, everyone's pissed, everyone's going to probably hijack the shows. It's probably not going to work like it did with Daniel Bryan almost 10 years ago with Randy Orton and Batista. Probably not going to work, especially with TKO in charge. So it's probably not going to work this time around. But we'll see what happens. We still have Monday Night Raw. We still have the WrestleMania kickoff press conference in Vegas. And that gets made official. Whatever they say. Well, you just have to wait and see what happens. That's all I can tell you at this point. So anyway, I went on a pretty long time. I need to say what I need to say. But let me know your thoughts on this whole Rock versus Roman craziness and Cody getting left in the dust to go and fight somebody else potentially at WrestleMania, or probably not at all. In the comments below on YouTube or on social media, send me a DM, talk about it, get your anger out on Twitter and Instagram at Very Cold Lasagna. But until then, that is it for this episode of Very Cold Lasagna. I'm your host, DylanLasagna. Thank you for tuning in to episode number 182, talking about SmackDown, talking about Bayley's WrestleMania decision and Cody's WrestleMania decision in this kind of longer than expected episode, but gotta let them feelings out as well. So let's wait it out. Let's see what comes of this. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, this is DylanLasagna signing out of another episode. And until the next one, keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And we'll be talking about the Super Bowl this coming week. My Niners and Chiefs. The Niners taking on the Chiefs this coming Sunday, real soon. But until then, well, until we get to the preview episode, peace out.